across the end of the at the end of the screen. So how are you ever perturbed by getting
not
asked
at
about
all.
this?
Not at all. I'm very proud to be a part of it. You know, when I was younger, it was hard.
Yeah.
Because when you're trying to establish your own identity, it's you know, it's a weight on your shoulders that you have to figure out how to carry. But you know, now that I'm sort of in the middle of my career, I feel deeply privileged to be a part of a legacy like that. And you know, that my grandfather, you know, we talk about Samuel Goldwyn, you know, talk about you know, overcoming adversity, and who came, you know, left Poland on foot at 14, 15 years old, walked, made his way to America, you know, and managed to, without any English, and, you know, managed to make his way in the turn of the last century, and be one of the people that started the, you know, the movie business, and had a, you know, a 60-year career in the movie business. That to now be a third generation of that, and I feel deeply privileged, you know, and I really feel it because I do what I do, and I have a brother who's a producer and a younger brother who's in the business, and my father has had a great career, so it's wonderful.
Yeah. How did you navigate those early days, trying to figure out what your path is going to be? And this question is particularly interesting for me to ask of you as opposed to other Goldwyns, because you decided to be an artist,
right?
And so much of this has been on the business side. It is the business of Hollywood. So you need that, but you decided to go to the artistic route. So how did you figure all that out?
Yeah, well, it came to me, you know, my mother's side of my family was also in show business, but in the artist side.
Let's get some props, not just in show business. Let's talk about Gone with the Wind.
Yeah. My mother's father was a man named Sidney Howard, who was a very successful Broadway playwright, Pulitzer Prize-winning playwright, who then became a screenwriter, who in fact worked for Sam Goldwyn before my parents were little kids, who wrote some great screenplays as well, one of which was Gone with the Wind. And he won an Oscar the year he died. He died in an accident and won an Oscar posthumously for Gone with the Wind. And so, you know, when I grew up, my mother's whole world was in the theater, and that's what really captured my imagination and my passion. And I thought I didn't want to go into show business. I thought I wanted to find something else to do, to do my own thing. And then in high school, I started doing plays because that's one of the things you can do for fun, and I got instantly hooked. And I, as I say, as a child, had just had this passionate love of the theater, and so that's where I thought my path, and that's how I started. I went to acting school in England after college and started working in regional theaters in the United States and in the New York theater, and kind of kept away from Hollywood at first, just to kind of get my sea legs and figure out who I was and what I was about. So I worked in the New York theater for a couple of years, and then realized that it would be tough to get a job or make a living ever if I didn't have some visibility in movies and TV. So then I kind of started journeying out to Hollywood and breaking into, doing guest shots on TV shows and tiny parts in movies. And, then after about 6 years, I finally got a big break in a movie, and then it was a little bit easier.
So that Goldwyn name doesn't catapult you to the front of the line?
It didn't me, and I think it'd be hard as an actor because you got to kind of deliver. And I didn't want to, maybe I had a little neurosis about it. I didn't want any favors. I didn't want to trade on it. I wasn't embarrassed by it, but I was embarrassed asking for favors. And once or twice, my brother, who's a very successful guy, my older brother John, helped me out and introduced me to so-and-so, and I'd get a meeting. And every time I went to one of those meetings where he'd set me up, it just was awkward and embarrassing, and I didn't get the job, and I felt I was putting him in an uncomfortable place. So I just said, okay, I'll do it on my own. And at the end of the day, that was the right choice for me.
Yeah. Is there you ain't got to call names, but anybody in your family who's not in the business?
Yeah, my eldest brother is a businessman.
Okay.
My sister is a musician and now runs a wonderful not-for-profit here in California, a group called Sound Art LA, which provides music education to underprivileged schools and inner-city community centers, and
Cool. So we talked earlier about the fact that you obviously have done and continue to do some directing. So how did that? The acting story I got, but how did the directing? Where did that come from? How did that get into the story?
Well, about 10 years into my career as an actor, I just started to feel like I wanted to do more. I thought, in 10 more years, I'm going to start getting bored. I didn't like always being at the mercy of someone giving me a job, or if I was in a hit, then I'd get 100 scripts, and if I was in a bomb, suddenly no scripts came.